Okay, so we are week three into this multi-part series about how to rebuild your relationship with movement. And this is the hardest step because we have to, once we've figured out how to be in our bodies and actually connect with the sensations associated with movement, once we've written the reason that we're doing movement to begin with and getting that new why in place, then we have to expose and rewrite the way that we talk to ourselves. So, if you're anything like me, you probably have had an experience of going into a gym setting and seeing yourself in the mirror and saying really negative things as a means of motivating to push harder, work harder, sweat harder, work longer, and so on. You may not even realize you've been doing it. It may be sort of um, kind of an internalized thing that's just happening without your kind of conscious awareness. But I can guarantee you there's some kind of a way that you're talking to yourself about moving and it needs to change. So the first step of that, there's kind of two steps to this. The first step is just to know what the current status is. So if you have someone that you can talk to or who is kind of going on this journey with you, that's awesome and you can kind of speak out loud. But that's very hard to find. So journaling is really kind of our best way to reflect on an unadulterated version of what's going on inside our heads. So I would encourage you to kind of stop yourself as you're moving and kind of going through this process and kind of say, what kinds of words am I using to myself? What kinds of things am I saying to myself? Am I trying to motivate myself? Am I trying to be, am I able to be present? And if I am, what is that mindset like? So first we have to come to face with what that is, and then we have to write what the new one is. So your new narrative will probably be linked to your new why, right? So instead of, you know, saying really mean things about your current body in order to try to push you harder, hopefully you'll be able to say, I can't wait to go on that vacation with my niece to climb up the Alps or whatever. And so you'll be, kind of getting excited for a future experience and kind of planting that positive image in your mind rather than dwelling on a thing that you don't like about your body or kind of dwelling on this idea that whatever you are in the present is not enough. Because the reality is, what you are right now is enough, and you don't have to change anything about yourself. The only reason we're moving is because connecting with our sensations and moving feels good in some kind of a way. Like that's like the root of this. And if you want to also build strength or you want to also improve your mobility because you have a life goal ahead of you, then that's great. But it's not because you in your current state is fundamentally flawed or in some way less valuable than the version of you in the future. So it might feel like a subtle difference, but it is definitely a different way of looking at movement as not being kind of a path to a version of you that you prefer, but rather a way of celebrating your body, a way of appreciating your body and saying thank you and nourishing your body, and also nourishing your mind and your life through enriched experiences. So we have to expose the things we're saying inside the internal critic that's there now, and then try and replace with a positive way of speaking to yourself. How proud you are of showing up, the fact that 5 minutes is enough, the fact that, hey, I didn't used to be able to do that before, celebrating those wins. Obviously, in an ideal situation, you have a coach or a community that you're in that's already doing that for you. And certainly in Movement Remedies, we try to make sure we're doing that for each other. Um, and for my clients, kind of acknowledging the showing up is such a hard part and celebrating the achievements along the way because as an outsider, I can see it better than the person who's moving. But we can't always have those communities. They're not always readily available. And I get that. So we do need, though, to build up a proactive way to kind of insulate against the negativity that may creep in. and make sure that the voice that we're carrying around inside is in line with the new set of values that we're bringing to the movement practice. And so this is 100% a slow process. I don't want this to become another way to beat yourself up because you're having a hard time finding that positive voice. I mean, honestly, like I still have a hard time remembering to speak kindly to myself. I mean, I'm speaking as much to myself as I am to you. Um, but we have to be diligent. We have to um, be vigilant about the way that we talk to ourselves because we are internalizing those messages. And so we want to be willing to be open and honest and candid with ourselves and then invite that new compassionate mover into the experience. So this is a tough one. I'm happy to chat about it, and I look forward to hearing about how your movement relationship is changing for the better.